Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the page, be sure to give us a like and a sub so you don't miss any of the content we have coming out. And today we're going to be jumping into Empyre, Emperor Hulkling, issue number 1. Now if you guys haven't been following this, I'm going to leave a link for a playlist that you guys can check out. It's covering everything Empyre, so it's going to have the whole Empyre event for you guys to be able to check out each video individually and decide what you want to go from there. So without further ado, let's dive into this issue. So jumping into this issue, we arrive at the Skrull Empire capital. This is some years prior. This is pretty much the fall of the Skrull Empire. And while it's falling, the princess lets them know that there is somebody out there that could possibly unite everybody. And that's the son of Mar-Vell, or Hulkling. Now, a few months prior to the events of Empyre actually kicking off, Hulkling was part of the Young Avengers. So he was hanging out with Peter Parker and doing all of these things, going out to gay bars and things of that nature, you know, just enjoying life, being an adult, being a person, being a human being, going out and having fun. Now, while they're out and about, they run into two individuals, and we talked about this in the previous videos. And the two they run into are both Skrull and Kree, Raxor and Belden. Now, these two had been tasked with finding Hulkling and bringing him back so that the Skrull and the Kree Empire could be united as one. And that's exactly what they tell Hulkling. Like, they need him because the universe needs him. And without him, there's going to be a lot of death. And before much else can be said, we see Skrulls come out of everywhere, ready to essentially kill Hulkling because they see him as a false leader and they don't want this alliance to happen. And then we see Hulkling pull out the Star Sword and put an end to everything immediately, ends the violence instantaneously because everyone is going to bow down to this sword. And so as the night closes out, they tell Hulkling that when he's ready, they're ready to transport him onto the throne ship in orbit, that his destiny awaits. But before he decides to do any of this, he's got an hour left, so he decides to go talk to his fiancé, Billy. And he explains everything to him, and they just sit on the rooftop holding each other, knowing that everything is about to change for him. Arriving upon the ship in orbit, he's met with Talith the Pursuer, and he also had brought Billy along with him, but they made it very obvious that Billy's not really welcome there. And so he teleports out. Before doing so, he gives a ring to Hulkling, to essentially a ring that he could teleport to whenever he needs to. So if Hulkling's ever in trouble, that ring will bring Billy to him. Upon meeting everybody that's within this arsenal, Captain Glory and so on and so forth, we run into the Super Skrull Krult, which is the Skrull that killed Hulkling's adopted mother. And so Hulkling punches him in the face and tells him, like, you're a POS. So after that's all out of the way, they let Hulkling know that the Armada is on its way. It's close to the sun right now, and it's making its way to the moon. But before he does this, he goes and visits his father's grave, Mar-Vell, the original Captain Marvel. And he's really just looking for some guidance because he's about to lead the universe's largest army ever seen. And he has no idea what he's doing. He was literally thrown into this almost instantaneously. When he teleports back onto the ship, he's met with yet another, what seems to be a coup. And this time, it's from the Kree. So you have both Kree and Skrull trying to kill Hulkling because they see him as an insufficient leader and not the person to lead the Kree or the Skrull, and definitely not somebody to lead them jointly or united. And seemingly the ship's guard, the Emperor's guard, they're all losing drastically. But this is where we see Billy come in and just lay waste to everybody around him. And then we pick back up later that evening, and we really just see the softer side of Hulkling. He's having issues trying to come to terms with what he's going to have to do here. And he's confiding within Billy, just unsure of where he's going to go. And Billy reassures him, lets him know, like, you're going to figure this out. You have this. So the next morning in the throne room, Hulkling sits upon the throne and more or less banishes Billy away from him. Not for Billy's sake or for Hulkling's sake, but for the sake of the Kree and the Skrull people, because they see him there as a weakness. And so Hulkling banishes him. And then we cut to the Pursuer. And we're not really sure what she's doing, but she seems to be the one behind this attack from insurgencies. And it seems maybe even the plan was to separate Hulkling from Billy entirely. But Billy, being who he is, decides, that that's not what's going to happen. So he pops up in the throne room a little later on and lets Hulkling know, Billy knows. He knows that he didn't mean anything he said. He knows that he still loves him and cares about him. And that he's going to be there for him even if he can't actually be in the same room as him. And thus, this will begin the Kree Skrull War. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I am actually really enjoying this. This is really just giving us backstory on everything that's going on prior to the events that are taking place right now in the Empyre event lineup. So it gives us a little bit of understanding of what put each of these individuals into the position that they're in. And Hulkling really has the potential to shine brighter than anybody else here. I'm really interested to see how this is going to end, because right now we have a young Avenger who's essentially in charge of the biggest army in the entire universe. I don't really know what more you could do after that. But yeah, definitely tell me what you guys think in the comments. If you haven't yet, be sure to like and subscribe to the page, and until the next video.